Oh, it was crazy out there. I haven't been out to the property since it was a little bit cooler, and on my way back now. But after a couple hours of hiking around, saw a lot of bugs, a lot of spiders. I don't hate spiders. I just find, you know, I think of them like they're on my team because they kill the bugs that I don't like. They set up webs to kill the bugs that I don't like. And it's still kind of annoying to see that much this late in the year. But it's to be expected, I guess. I just haven't spent that much time in the wilderness, in the real wilderness, around this time of year. I think I'm a wannabe outdoorsman. I really do want to be more tolerant of what's going on in the ecosystem when you're out in the woods. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but being aware of spiders and being more tolerant of them, understanding that they're not really going to hurt you necessarily. But it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, I consider myself somewhat of a manly man. I like to go out and chop wood, start fires without a lighter, mountain bike, you know, shoot bows and arrows, stuff like that. But I think the fact is I'm still on some level a wannabe outdoorsman because I'm still yet to learn things like hunting. I can fish, but not very well. That sort of stuff. This is a great stretch of road. And today I was inspired by my self-reliance over the past 2 years, I guess. Watching that guy, he's in Canada, where they don't get bad ticks as much from my understanding, and spiders are probably still there, but mostly for them it's black biting flies for 2 to 3 months out of the year, and mosquitoes, which get really bad. But that guy has built a cabin by hand, a sauna by hand in Ontario, where it gets extremely cold, it gets pretty hot, and there's a lot of bugs. And I was inspired by that, and that's something that I guess for the rest of my life I will try to mimic in some way, whether it's just doing woodworking by hand. But man, it's a lot tougher than he makes it look, that's for sure. I walked around with my tripod, with my camera tripod, and set it up so that I could walk into the frame, and then set it up again so I could walk away from the frame. I had a couple shots with my GoPro, you know, taking some still shots of the wind blowing against the leaves. And that guy has filmed, you know, hours of content, and I'm sure he doesn't spend a ton of time chopping it up, but he's a pretty good videographer, and you can tell that he is because of all the stuff that he does. And it's not easy to also make progress while filming. It's so hard to do because you have to go set up for the shot, and then you have to get some in-between shots. I guess having multiple cameras would obviously be helpful, but then you got to set up the in-between shots, and then you got to make sure that you are capturing the footage. I've had some issues in the past where I make some really cool shots and I end up getting corrupted files. Or like today, I ran out of battery on my freaking whatchamacallit, on the SIM card, on the memory card. I ran out of footage, or out of room. Man, it's harder than it looks. Sean James, you're amazing, and you deserve all the subscribers and all the money you earn from YouTube right now. This channel, you know, I enjoy documenting the process of building the family compound. And today, honestly, I was looking around the pole barn, which is unfinished, that we've made some progress on, not nearly as much as we could have, but most of the work that we're doing in there, just because of bugs and things, we want it to be done in the winter time or the fall, so that we can so that we can take care of the bugs while they're slow. Like right now when it's 90 degrees, the wasps are getting inside and out, the spiders are jumping all over the place, crickets, grasshoppers, stuff like that. And it's just kind of annoying when you have to keep getting them out of your collar and whatever. So I think the progress that we're going to be making over this next quarter through January is going to be pretty big. I just did some measurements today, despite the wasps trying to get into my hat and sting me. But I'm really looking forward to making some progress on the pole barn specifically, because that'll be the place where we can go light a fire, get warm, cook some food over the oven that we put in, the wood burning stove rather. So yeah, that'll be fun. But I would love to tear down a bunch of trees on that property and just have a nice field somewhere for like shooting and stuff. I think that's a pretty doable thing. I honestly think a lot of the work that I've researched is less expensive than you would think. I think a big project that we want to undertake is getting a well. Some kind of well dug there. I thought about doing it myself, but I saw a few people do it before and they were in much more workable soil than what I have right now. It's pretty rocky, as you can see in some of my videos, at least at the top. I think if we go somewhere towards the back, we could probably dig a nice well by hand, you know, going 15 feet down with an auger or something, but then, you know, you gotta walk so far to get water. So I think we might hire somebody to dig a well soon. One of the other projects we were thinking about is if we do decide to get a field put in, like just tear down a bunch of trees in order to plant grass. We have to maintain the field, obviously, but we could sell the trees. And I'm not sure exactly how we could sell the trees because there's not a ton. It looks like it was probably, you know, it was probably, that was probably done within the last decade, so a lot of the trees are pretty small still, and you wouldn't get much money for them, but there are some chunks where you can get $1,000 per tree. You know, thinking about some of the work that has to be done, it intimidates me. Not only from a financial perspective, but from an upkeep perspective. I mean, the land that we got with the cabins on it in the pole barn was basically a steal from my perspective. I mean, I negotiated pretty hard with the land seller because I knew they were in a position where they needed cash. But the other thing that intimidates me a little bit is the self-reliance piece. I want to be more self-reliant. That's a big goal of mine. I want to be able to grow my own food and have a smaller supply chain for things like meat, so I can go and get meat from somebody who butchered a cow, or somebody that has cows, and I can buy, you know, a section of a cow and keep it in a freezer. You know, I want to be more self-reliant in that aspect. But I also want to be able to sustain ourselves a little bit more when we do things that are fun, like hunting. I want to be able to kill and eat my own meat. I'd like to be able to fish. I don't really like to eat fish, but I'd like to be able to fish and be able to cook one. So I would like to go salmon fishing at some point, potentially, or trout. I just want to be more outdoorsy. I just want to be able to do more stuff that allows you to live off the land. And I'll tell you what, I haven't ever seen towns as small as the ones that our property is near, and it's really nice. I mean, the people are not disconnected from the world, obviously, because of, thanks to the internet, small towns like this can have similar innovation and similar businesses than, you know, people in the big city. They just don't have all the traffic. They don't have all the people and all the congestion. It's really nice. I mean, as you pass people by, especially when you get near the small towns, within a few miles of the small towns, everybody waves. Going 60 on country roads, they always wave. And and you wave back, and it's a nice sense of community. I mean, you get your crazies and your meth heads here and there, but you know, that's why you have guns, right? Oh, look at this part. This is beautiful. So awesome. That's such a great area. It's so beautiful. When you get out away from the city, you get into the hills, into the rolling hills and the cliffs. You get to see stuff like that. Just gigantic cloud formations over miles and miles and miles of trees. It's beautiful. I love it. And that's one of the big things that when you see that, you're like, I just want to be a part of it. Even if that means getting a cricket, you know, jumping on your face or something, it doesn't really matter. The rest of it is great. I don't know what it would be like without the bugs, you know? Maybe it would be better, but maybe you would miss something. Maybe at night when you lay your head down in the cabin and you don't hear the crickets chirping, you might feel like there's a weird sense of silence. You know, who knows? I'm blathering on. I will say, from an outdoor perspective, the one thing I am good at is paddling. I'm a pretty experienced paddler. Been on rivers, oceans, lakes, you name it. I've probably paddled it, and that's something that I'm really proud of. Is we have gone really far from an outdoors adventure perspective. We've done a lot of that. We've done a lot of paddling and mountain biking. And the interesting thing about like regrets, looking back at like one way you would have done something, it's almost weird to do because you'll never be able to go back and do something for the most part. And it's not about, you know, where you're at necessarily, it's about where you're headed and how you're getting there. It's about the journey. The journey is what everybody talks about. The journey is what nobody talks about. Everybody talks about the destination, the success. But I think success is really living your life as close to your own terms as possible while living in truth. I mean, at least that's my idea of success. I mean, there's other people that have been successful that I've met, and they're just tortured by their own life that they've created. You know, the journey might have been crappy, and then the destination allows them to get some of the material items that they want. But that's, you know, it all takes sacrifice. And if you sacrifice for some of these material possessions, you're gonna feel it. You know, it's not gonna be the big house, nice car, the, you know, whatever it is, the gold toilet, whatever it is not gonna feel like you think it will. Because you have to sacrifice certain things to get that. And that sacrifice kind of takes it away. It takes some of the luster away. It's an interesting thing to think about.